guys, welcome back to my channel. So actually for this video, this was not the topic I intended to do. I was actually working on two other videos that are kind of long research topics, and I got bored of doing them, so I decided to go watch Maviran, which is absolutely amazing, and I want to watch it 200 times. Actually, I went and watched something that Hulu recommended to me, and one of the things that it recommended to me was podcast murders. Now, I love true crime and I love murder mysteries, so I was like, oh, this movie is perfect for me. I am so excited. The problem was that I forgot one very important thing before clicking on this, but at least thanks to me forgetting that, you guys have this video now, right? Right?
That's false.
So I start the movie and
I've made a huge mistake.
I hate this night vision so much. Like, I'd rather they just made everything blue and it looked, like, at least it kind of looks like nighttime then. So she goes into this house that she seems to be looking into in the middle of the night for some reason. I have no idea why. And she gets the lights turned off on her, and she's super scared by that for some reason. And then someone is trying to kill her, and I love this acting. Look at her. She doesn't do anything. She's crying, I guess. And she screams, and now she's dead. So, after all that build-up and brilliant acting, we realize that this story is being told in podcast format. This is Chloe. She does a podcast on what she calls as the Bombshell Murders, which is a series of murders in the area that she lives in, Violet City. Her hobbies include running without sweating, apparently, and having nightmares about the murders that she podcasts about. The latter hobby, unfortunately, makes her wake up in the middle of the night and go see her mystery board that she's using to solve the crime. And this scene is truly impeccable. It's absolutely amazing. Seriously, look at it. So, she keeps looking at the board, and she gets more and more scared as she keeps thinking of every single murder that happened. And then finally she drops the mug in fear, and then you're just like, wait a minute, she dropped the mug and there was nothing in the mug. So what was she even drinking? What did she make herself? Air? Anyway, back to Chloe's brilliant podcast.
Was he handsome? Is that why there were no signs of a struggle?
Was he handsome? Was that why there were no signs of a struggle? Does this woman think that just like these women straight up just let themselves get murdered, didn't care about anything because they dated some dude like Chad, and they were just like, oh, because Chad is hot, I'm just gonna let him murder me? I swear to God, this woman has no idea how serial killers work. Hopefully, maybe her podcast will get better, because her next plan is to go to the scene of the crime, where Lucy Miller's murder happened in the greenhouse. She's planning to go to that house and, investigate or whatever there. So while she's driving to that place, she gets a call from a journalist telling her that she wants to interview her. But, how is Chloe supposed to maintain her anonymity if supposing she has to give up her information to this journalist? Anyway, we get completely distracted from this piece of information, not because of anything interesting happening, no. Definitely not because of the fake out jump scare they do after that, but because this woman drives a BMW, and is it a BMW? No, it's not. You can't think about cars. Anyway, this woman drives an Audi and straight up just leaves the window open and walks into this house. Like, what does she... Why would you do that? Just why? Does she want her car to get stolen? What's going on? And just as you think that this movie couldn't get any stupider, you look at the real estate agent wear a suit with a polo shirt underneath it. Like, what is this fit? Who wears that? No, seriously, who wears these things? I just don't understand. Look, I know this is a TV movie. I know that they don't have like a huge budget or anything to their name. But can they at least try? Like, I can even sort of forgive the polo thing, Like, I get it. Maybe they just pulled this guy off some other set and, they didn't have anything for him to change into except this, so they did the best with what they had. But the window thing doesn't make any sense. They could just have asked her to do a second take where she closed the window. Like, what would they lose from that? I know these people don't care, and I can prove that they don't care with the next scene. Like, look at this next shot where she Googles the real estate's like police records and info so she can just make sure that he's not the murderer. Notice anything in that shot other than the horrible Google ripoff? That's right, the mouse clicks don't match. Like, what, did the editor get bored? Why did he need to do this? They clearly already filmed like one of those shots, right? Like, they clearly filmed, they had the sound effect for one of them that sounded like a trackpad, and the other one sounds like a mouse click. Like, why would you need to add that? What is going on in this movie? Why?
This is the worst.
Chloe goes to meet the journalist that, asked to interview her for the article at a bar, just to talk to her and hang out and kind of figure out, where to go from here. Now, this scene may seem normal enough right now. You want to find this particular piece of information in your brain, because believe me, it will come to bite this movie in the ass.
No, the truth is, my editor had to read. We had our research guy look into IP addresses, registration, etc. I mean, things I don't understand.
Alright, so you filed that piece of information away? Let's keep on going. Alright, so she agrees to do the interview, and she is happy and exits the bar and everything. And we pan out and we see that some guy is clearly stalking her. Again, I'm not going to comment on this, but just keep this in mind so I can bring it back when we finish the movie. Just seriously, she's not sweating. Just so simple. Such a simple thing they could have done. Just pick up some water and throw it on her. Why is that why would you not even do that much? What the fuck? So she meets some guy. He sucks. Honestly, this part of the movie is so boring, so let's just fast forward.
Like a scale of 1 to 10, how good was this date?
No, not to that part. Let's fast forward some more.
Tell me about them.
About the murders?
Yeah, okay. That's great. Like, the murders themselves are honestly interesting, like the second one, apparently, the killer took her to a remote location and she ran, like, through the woods and, like, basically succumbed to exhaustion, and that's how he got her. Like, that's pretty crazy. I just feel like with the murders and the stalking and maybe even the nightmares, I think that this movie already has like uncomfortable enough feeling. Like, I think that's good enough for this movie, right? But apparently not. This director just doesn't understand that and does bullshit like this.
I'll be fine. Don't worry about it.
Everything okay? Sorry.
Like, what? That was entirely unnecessary. What did that add to the movie? It didn't amount to anything. So after that incredibly weak attempt, we get the scene of Ellie, the journalist, trying to snoop around Chloe's house in the middle of the night. And it's super convenient for her that all the lights are on, apparently, even though it's the middle of the night. Honestly, this is the only thing more convenient than this. Apparently, Chloe has zero understanding of any security measures and just writes her password down in her podcast notes. Great job. So Chloe and the guy that she met at the gym, Josh, have their date. Yay! Honestly, this guy is so boring. Like, seriously. Okay, this is how he ends the date.
Oh, I didn't kiss you.
I noticed that.
I didn't kiss you, not because I didn't want to, but because, well, I have this rule. I figure if the first date goes well, then we had a lot more time later for that first awkward kiss.
Like, that is the saddest thing I have ever heard in my life. Honestly, this guy has no game and he's super annoying. I have no idea what she sees in him.
And we never got to the first murder.
Megan Hansen. Her murder was unique from the others.
Wait, what? So, her murder was unique from everyone else's as well. So the first and the second one don't really fit the MO of this murder. That's kind of odd, I guess.
After I left the school, I heard about what happened on the news. And then a couple years later, they released the photo of the second victim.
Well, they look the same.
Okay, I guess that could work, but you know, it still seems like a weak connection. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Oh God, no, not this scene. I actually don't want to watch this. So anyway, just to give you guys an explanation, yeah, she's working out again without sweating because obviously she is severely dehydrated. Somebody needs to give this woman a drink. And she's heading out, and as she's heading out, she sees Josh cheating on her with Ellie, and she gets all upset and follows them home, confirming that they are in fact, you know, cheating on her or whatever. And she gets, I guess, sad about it, and then tries to take a shit in her car. I have no idea what this is. I think she's trying to cry, but there are like no tears, so it just looks like she's trying to take a dump. I don't know what else to call this expression. Where are the tears? Hey Chloe, wow, that looks great and all, but you know, let's try something like, you know, different in the next scene. Let's try trying. Okay, that didn't work at all. Hey guys, do we need another take? Okay, no. Okay, great.
Where are you? When do you feel the irresistible urge to kill again? Is it an occasional desire? An itch that needs to be scratched? Or do you resist it until the monster inside can't be contained anymore?
was 3 seconds long? What the fuck was that? Honestly, we're back to the movie being super boring, so I'll just give you the highlights. Oh no, Josh is a stalker. But we haven't reached the end of the movie, so we know he's not the killer. He's just a weirdo. Chloe agrees to, meet Ellie in like a winery to finalize the script, and looks like she's on her way to getting her article published. Yay! And finally, Chloe breaks up with Josh in this totally amazing shot that's completely in focus. Alright, let's get to the final part of this movie. You know what this has all been leading up to. So she meets Ellie at this abandoned winery, and
Chloe? Ellie Manchester, the fifth and final victim of the bombshell murders killer, was lured to an abandoned winery where nobody would hear her scream.
Yep, so apparently she was the murderer the whole time. Boo! So she planned this apparently while she was like, looking at a billboard for like the winery foreclosure. And I say it was a billboard because clearly this shot takes place in the middle of the city and not in some fucking middle of nowhere shithole. So apparently this place was just advertising going out of business. Also, I don't get the point of this shot. I thought we just established that she planned this, while she saw them, whatever, kissing or whatever. So why would that relate to this shot that clearly happened much later? Alright, so hold on. She'd committed this murder in a college town, and apparently no one else was home that night, even though clearly, just living alone must be super expensive for like a college student. And also nobody, like none of the neighbors heard her scream, and nobody saw a woman run away with like a bloody arm. How is that possible?
Lucy Miller was almost too easy. We met at a gym. When she said she was looking to buy a house, I said I'd keep an eye out. I found the perfect place. The realtor was too lazy to even show the house in person. All it took was an email to get a code for the key.
Okay, so apparently she used a dummy IP address to lure Amber Swanson into like a, neighborhood and murder her. And she also did that for Lucy Miller because clearly, like, she got the code for the key through an email that the police weren't able to trace.
Do you remember her emailing you? The victim, Lucy Miller?
No, not from her. I did get some email from some guy. Somebody they never could identify. I gave him the code to get in.
So why would she not just use, like, a VPN to post her podcast? Because clearly if she didn't, then, people would be able to trace her IP address to her. And also, if she's smart enough to do all of these things, how is she dumb enough to put her password in the show notes in, like, not adding up at all.
Why the podcast?
I wanted to be close to them. I had no idea it would take off like it did.
Wait, so she made the podcast to be close to the victims. So then the whole thing is a sham. Why would she be having nightmares about any of them? Like, she clearly doesn't feel sad for them being murdered. She thinks they deserve to be dead. So then what is she having nightmares about? Like, I kind of understand if supposing she's having nightmares because she doesn't want to commit the murders, but she needs to for content or whatever. But that's not the case. So what's going on? Also, why is she like Googling people's police records or whatever? She is the killer. She doesn't need to do any like research. She knows who is murdering people. And lastly, why have an evidence board? Like, I kind of understand maybe she's being narcissistic and collecting information about herself, but then why is there red tape all over it, connecting things? Like, what is the point of that? I don't get it. Also, this scene.
You've mentioned on your podcast that you're a survivor.
You know how it goes. They have an interest and you don't. They feel entitled to you anyway and blame you. One night, it got violent. I was too afraid to press charges. I just wanted it to be over.
That was a tough watch. So basically, she admitted all of these lies to a journalist. So it would have been a public interview. So any fan with even the slightest bit of curiosity would have been able to figure out which college this was, because obviously the information about the murder victim would have been somewhat public.
Now, there's one thing that people are going to want to know. Why these cases? What drew you to them? I mean, there's thousands of cold cases out there. Why these?
I knew her.
Megan?
We went to the same college.
And she would have probably been able to latch her back to, her original name, and therefore just exposing the fact that nobody ever broke into her house and she just lied about that. She would lose all credibility at that point. It makes no sense to tell this to a journalist. What was she thinking? Also, calling someone to a bar is still, traceable. You think police can't track call logs? They'd probably be able to do that, and it would lead them back to you. I don't understand how that works. Sidebar, what the hell was this winery thinking? Opening in the middle of nowhere. Like, why did they expect their winery surrounded by what looks like wheat fields to do well? Like, what?
I wasn't trying to make you monologue, Chloe. I was getting you to confess.
Breeze! Don't move.
Not an inch. They promised us our time with you. But they won't hesitate. Chloe.
Oh, plot twist. Looks like they were in on this scheme the whole time. Wait a minute, that also doesn't make any sense. There are so many ways this could have gone wrong. Like, what if supposing she had rejected the calls from the journalist, just like she rejects, all the messages that she gets from companies? What if supposing she said, run whatever the hell you want in your article, I'm gonna sue you and your company? What if supposing she had just taken the 2 seconds to Google Ellie and realize, oh, this woman is actually not a journalist? Also, this scene.
Yeah, I was wondering if we could fast track the interview a little bit.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I think I'm ready. And you said it pays well?
Yeah. I can send over the agreement.
Like, can we fast track and send the agreement over? What were they sending over? A fake, agreement? What's going on? Also, what if she hadn't found Josh attractive? She could have just said no to him. How did they know that, she was gonna find him hot? That could have easily been shut down the minute he tried to hit on her at the gym. What if supposing she had just murdered them, at home when they had, when they were copulating? There were no police then. They would have just been killed and nobody would have been the wiser of what happened.
This is unbelievable.
Yeah, I agree. It is absolutely unbelievable.
Wherever you went, Chloe, whenever Ellie was with you, I was there. We knew your motives, We knew your triggers. We knew your schedule right down to the very minute.
None of these things change the glaring holes in your plan. Like, one of the things that your plan depended on was the fact that she had to catch you two cheating, which could have only happened if, supposing, you somehow knew that she would go to the gym in the middle of the night. That's not something you knew. So what were you even doing? Were you just going to be dolled up and dressed every time she just goes out in the night and you just see her that day? Like, what the hell? None of this makes any sense.
That's impossible.
Chloe is right. That is impossible. Do I even need to do anything here? I feel like Chloe's doing my job for me pretty well.
We found my sister's killer.
And here we are.
And that's why we started our own podcast. To take on cold cases, to help the victims' friends and families find peace by bringing their killers to justice.
Mr. Madison, what you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought.
This is a horrible movie. The plot is literally a black hole of logic, and none of the actions that the heroes do make any sense in this film. There is no way they could have successfully managed a confession out of her, and it is stupid to think that they could have done that. I realize that Lifetime movies are known for being complete jokes at this point, and I realize why that is the case. Next time when Hulu recommends something to me, I'm gonna be mindful of the little Lifetime tag, because I missed it when I saw this movie, and that was clearly a huge mistake. This movie is awful, and I vow never to watch any Lifetime movie ever again. So yeah, anyway, the review is now over. I think it's pretty clear what I feel about this film. So be sure to like and subscribe if you wanna watch me get angry at more movies. Just kidding. The next review that I'm gonna do is probably gonna be a little more analytical than this one. I just wanted to do a little bonus Angie review for you guys before I do my next analytical video. So if you really like that, let me know if you have any other suggestions that are not Lifetime in the comments below. Bye!